Welcome to Dalma Makes. In this video I'm going to show you how I transformed these small hot sauce containers into potion bottles. I really wanted to explore and see how different I could make them. So let's start with our first project, the wet specimen. I peeled off the label, thoroughly washed and degreased this little container. The bottle part is a hard plastic and the cap is aluminium. I really like the shape of these panels, so I'm going to make a label that kind of fits that shape. And to do that, I just printed out an image that I liked and I traced it around the shape and cutting it out. At first I cut it too big, but then I kept fit measuring and making it smaller and smaller and until it fit perfectly, as I can always go smaller but I can't go bigger. Once I'm happy with the size and shape, I just inked the label a little bit with some browning to age it and make it look a little bit worn. And I glued it on with a bit of air dry resin, as this is quite a slick surface and I didn't want it to peel off with time. For the wet specimen, we need a liquid, so I just tinted some water with yellow ink. And I'm going to use these small cuttings from a plastic plant and just putting in 3 sprigs that I think look good together. I didn't want to overcrowd the bottle, and filling it up with the tinted liquid that I just made. I'm going to fill it almost to the brim, but leaving a little bit of space, as I think having an air bubble is going to make the movement more interesting. Next, the aluminium cap was begging for an improvement, so I'm going to add this resin flower to the top. It had a little bit of a domed bottom, so I sanded it a little so it fits better, and I attached it with some hot glue. I also wrapped some random yarn I had lying around below the flower, sort of obscuring the threading and the very obvious nature of it being an aluminium bottle cap. I think this adds an interesting element and it also secures it in an interesting way. Obviously this bottle is not meant to be opened and play with, and the aluminium cap already was leak proof, as this was in fact a hot sauce bottle to start with. The next step is to paint the top. And I base coated everything in a nice chocolate brown. To the flowery top, I added a layer of dark green paint, followed by a much brighter olive green. The wrapped part I just dry brushed with a light brown and a tannish color, just to accentuate those raised edges. And that's it. It's quite simple and straightforward, and it looks like it could be some kind of poisonous plant that's been preserved, and that's the reason I chose the ominous looking label as well. I think this is a worthy transformation of a little peri drizzle. I think this can make a wonderful little handout for a tabletop role-playing game when they come across a vial of poison. Now let's see what else I could come up with to make with this small hot sauce container. This time I'm not going to put any liquid in it. Instead, I'm going to decorate the exterior of the bottle. So I used some loose weave fabric to do this. It's kind of like cheesecloth, but a lot thicker threads. And I just cut off a scrap, and I'm kind of pulling it apart and arranging it in a distressed way. And I'm gluing it on with some gel matte medium. And as I go, I keep rearranging those fibers with my brush as well. I'm sort of fully saturating everything so that it kind of remains fixed in place. To improve the cap, I'm going to use this round perfume bottle cap that just accidentally happens to perfectly fit over the little aluminium cap. And it's quite a snug fit, so I just added a few dabs of that air dry resin to fix it in place. I think that the texture on the body of the bottle is quite amazing already, but I'm going to paint it to accentuate it even more. And I'm starting with a base coat of orange, but actually I'm painting it in a way that I still let a little bit of the original black of the fibers to shine through, as I think those shadows make it look even more interesting. Next, I added a few more muted oranges and yellows, sort of overbrushing here and there in a patchy manner, as I wanted a little bit of randomness. To finish it off, however, I'm going to gently rub on some gold paint with the tip of my finger, only touching the raised edges on the surface. And this metallic paint makes it really pop. And here you can see a little bit of a close-up. I wanted to make the ball top match, but it's quite a sleek plastic. So instead of acrylic paint, I started with some gold alcohol ink, hoping to stain it. I had to do a bunch of layers though, and in the end I added an acrylic layer anyway, because it wasn't a perfect gold match. But by the time it all dried, I think it came together quite well. And that's it. My second idea has been brought into existence as well. This is a completely different result from the first one, and I'm sure that there could be many other ways that these little hot sauce bottles could be transformed. Please do let me know in the comments which one you like best from the two. I always love to hear some feedback. Also, if you're interested in seeing more potion bottles, I have a little series going, so do subscribe for future videos. Thank you for watching. I hope you're having a nice day. Bye.